So they are allowing Satan, they're actually pushing Satan into all of the schools. They've already made it allowed in 2 states. They're working on a 3rd state, and they're after school clubs for elementary school students. These judges have actually ruled to allow this after school Satan club to be allowed in elementary schools. This is being offered by the Satanic Temple, okay? So the Satanic Temple is pushing Satan in the schools. I don't know how this is even like a discussion. How is this even a fucking discussion, right? This is absolutely freaking ridiculous. Those are young kids. That's like, what, 5 to 11, I looked up. It's people that are kids that are 5 to 11 years old, and Satan's just in the school like it's nothing. And this is relatively new, too. Like, I haven't even heard about this. You guys will have to let me know in the chat. Have you guys heard about this at all? Because I hadn't heard about it until today. I think I saw something on Instagram, a video about it, and thank God for the Instagram algorithm, because I haven't seen or heard anybody talk about this, and I actually follow a couple like Christian YouTube channels as well, and I haven't heard any of them talk about it either, so I wonder if it's getting swept under the rug. That's usually how these things go. It's one thing for the judges to rule on it, it's another thing for the schools to be okay with it, and it's another thing for their parents to let their kids go to it. So like, this gets deep. The first video we're going to take a look at is the Fox News video. That's the first one I have up here. And this is just going to give us, each one of these videos is a little bit different. This first video we're going to take a look at is how they're trying to justify this to the world, right? Looks like a worm with eyes. All right, sorry. Let's go back. I need to stop interrupting this so we can actually hear what this guy is saying.
Metaphor for rebellion against tyranny, and is the embodiment of a lot of the values that we espouse.
According to Satanic Temple co-founder Lucian Greaves, a couple of parents in the Northern York School District asked him to start the program. He says it is designed for kids aged 5 to 14 with the mission, quote, to promote self-directed education by supporting the intellectual and creative interests of students.
Well, the curriculum focuses on the scientific way of thinking to reach solutions. Like I said, as a non-theistic religion, we don't advocate for any supernatural points of view.
While Greaves says this
bullshit,
isn't an organization that worships Satan or promotes any sort of religion, one mother says that is not an excuse for a program like this.
Absolutely not. Now, do you guys think he prepared before he went on and talked to the whole world about this? He's on Fox News, okay? This is probably the biggest news. There might be a couple others that are close to it, but Fox is pretty much the biggest thing, right? Now, this guy's got to make it, because obviously this is crazy, right? They're pushing Satan on these kids. This is absolutely crazy. His job is to make it look as less crazy as possible. And he's the head of the Satanic Temple. I don't know if you heard, but that is the guy that is the head of it. I mean, he looks like he's the head of it. He looks like he has a head of a worm. He said, we're not doing anything that's supernatural. The word he used is, we're not doing anything supernatural here. And all of us at home are it's quite easy to go ahead and type into Google what Satanism is about, right? You're not changing it because it's a kid. And guys, there's actually a website that talks and breaks down all of the stuff that they're doing that we're going to look at here in just a minute. But that's the guy right there. That's the head of this. That's the guy that's trying to sit here and make the world think it's not a big deal, man. It's just a couple 5 to 14-year-olds that are learning about Satan after school. So the crazy thing is, you have school, right? And they're already teaching crazy stuff at school. I'm not a big fan of most of the stuff that people are teaching at schools. And this is an after-school program. So usually kids that are in after-school programs are the ones whose parents are still working. They don't have anybody to do it, right? They don't have anybody to watch their kids. Usually families that have a little less money, right? I was less fortunate when I was growing up, so I had to go to these after-school curriculars and different things like that. So they're taking these kids that are probably already less fortunate, not 100% of the time, but it's likely because their parents, A, can't pick them up or have a babysitter to get them before they come home from work. And so now they have this as an option for your kids to go to. I think this is absolutely crazy, man. Since when does elementary school have like these different after-school clubs and programs? Like, I'm familiar with like Latchkey, right? You guys may be familiar with Latchkey. That's where you just play with the kids. There might be like a teacher that's there and they just watch over you and you basically just go play with toys and hang out with the different kids after school. this is all new to me, where they have like different options of things that you can do after school. Let's keep in mind, this is elementary school. This isn't middle school. Middle school is different, right? Middle school, the kids are a little bit older, so they can decide like what kind of things they're interested in, what they want to do after school. But like, there's kids that are 5 years old in elementary school, and this is an option of after school thing. I thought that was ridiculous. And here's a couple of the other clubs that you're going to find at elementary schools, okay? Just to keep in mind. We got sports and Boy Scouts. Those are some of the other ones that are offered. Both of those are very good for your values and morals. Sports is great. It's a great activity to get into. It's that physical activity. It's good for kids to start learning that at a young age, to be physical and run around and have fun playing sports. And Boy Scouts is amazing. You learn all kinds of stuff in there. And then how does this fit anywhere with those other two? So we're going to move on to the next video now. This one, they're trying to get us to believe that this is going over more of the reasoning why they're allowing this in the schools right now. So,
and took its fight to court.
Organizers with the Satanic Temple, a non-religious organization, say its Satan Club gives parents an alternative option for their child's after-school care. The group says it focuses on schools offering Christian-based programming, specifically schools that host the evangelical Good News Club. The Satanic Temple does not.
So even at churches that have, or even at schools that have Christian church sort of options instead, they're doing this at. How is that even possible? It's like they give them the one choice to be able to learn about God, and then they also give them a second choice to learn about the devil, learn about Satan.
Actually worship the devil, but uses its imagery more like a mascot, promoting.
Okay, did you hear what they said? They said they don't actually worship the devil. They're not teaching kids to worship the devil. They're just using Satan as their mascot. You see how deceptive they're being to the public? Let's go back a little bit. Let's hear that one more time.
Specifically, schools that host the evangelical Good News Club. The Satanic Temple does not actually worship the devil, but uses its imagery more like a mascot, promoting.
Give me a break. Are you kidding me? We all have Google at our fingertips. How stupid do you think we are? That's the problem. They think we're. And there are some people that are going to fall for this, right? There are some people that are going to fall into this not knowing how horrible this really is. Oh, it's just Satan. It's just, it doesn't really mean we worship Satan. It's just we use his mascot. We use his mascot, right? It doesn't mean anything, I swear.
Calls of activism. Curriculum does not include teaching about the devil or satanic rituals. Instead, focuses on science, critical thinking, and creative arts.
Focuses on science, critical thinking, right? So this is how they're trying to make the public think, hey, this is actually a good thing. The kids are learning about science. They're being critical. They have critical thinking. They're actually getting smarter while they're here. They're not being influenced into anything bad at all. They're actually getting better as humans by being here. How are these judges this dumb? What kind of judges are these? Are these satanic judges? I think that was it for this clip. Let's see.
But parents of faith.
At least there's people standing up for it here. That's one good thing, is that there's people standing up for it. I still don't know how it got passed. I can say that a million times, but
insist these clubs be canceled, fearing their children will be indoctrinated into worshiping Satan.
What happens to one school district makes a difference.
We take Bibles.
Yeah, if it happens at one school district, it's more likely to happen at more. The problem is that they're children. They're so young. They're so impressionable. This stuff is going to lead them down a life of bad stuff, bad path. It's not going to lead them down a good path. We'll watch a little bit more, but we have some other stuff we got to take a look at too.
Prayer out, Satan automatically comes in, and now we're inviting him in. That's obviously, I'm going to take a stand against that.
Just by allowing him into the school, you're opening up your school for demons and bad spirits and bad energy. You just are. It is what it is.
The school district voting in favor of concerned parents, rescinding its agreement to let the group meet on school grounds.
The ACLU getting involved.
Suing a Pennsylvania school district in March for First Amendment violations, arguing the need for equal access regardless of their religious beliefs. A federal judge agreed.
A lawsuit for equal religious means. I hadn't seen this part before. So there's actually a lawsuit saying that, well, if there's going to be religious viewpoints, there also has to be satanic viewpoints at our school. How ridiculous, bro.
Their religious beliefs. A federal judge agreed, ruling the district must allow the after-school Satan Club to meet in its facilities.
I'm going to find this judge and I'm going to write him a letter. Let's all just write him letters. Let's find out who this judge is. We'll send him really nice letters, okay? In a victory for free speech and religious freedom, a federal court has ruled that the Saucon Valley School District must allow the after-school Satan Club. Must allow. Absolutely ridiculous.
What does this week's victory mean? Let's bring in...
Is this Melinda Gates? Why does that look like Melinda Gates?
A lawyer with the ACLU representing the after-school
All right, we'll see what she has to say and then we'll move on.
Joining us live now. Sarah, thank you so much for your time. Explain to us, how did this end up in court? Because initially, the school district had approved the Satanic Temple's application to use the district's facilities.
Yeah, that's right. Originally, the school district did tell the club that they could meet in the school facilities after school, just like other clubs are allowed to meet, such as the Good News Club, which is a Christian club.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And
it's just a club. Guys, it's just a club.
Similar types of activities. But after the school district sent a message to the school community explaining their decision, there's a lot of backlash from the community, a lot of opposition, a lot of people who are upset about the school district's decision.
Good. I am really happy to hear that, though.
Even though the school district acknowledged that their decision was required by the Constitution and the First Amendment. And, unfortunately, there was also a threat of violence made against the school by somebody upset by the school's decision.
Okay, we don't need to threaten them with violence. That's the thing. You don't threaten them with violence. That gets you nowhere. If anything, if they're threatened with violence, they're going to be more apt to not do anything about it. So I don't agree against that. You should never have violence, especially when matters like this. It needs to be protested. No violence. As a result, violence literally never gets anywhere.
The school district canceled the club and said they couldn't use school facilities after school.
All right, cool. Let's go ahead and move on. That's a good point right there. Now we're going to take out one last video here. But I want you first to go ahead and picture in your mind, what would a parent look like that would allow their kids into this kind of a program? We're not supposed to judge people by their appearance, right? Don't judge a book by its cover, but there is, you kind of can judge a book by its cover, especially when you know what this person is doing with their children, what they're allowing their children to do. So really quick, just go ahead, close your eyes for a second. What would you picture that person to look like? Do you think that's a smart person? Do you think they have their life figured out?
And the community.
I let my kids believe in whatever the hell they want to believe in, as long as they're happy and it's not hurting them or hurting someone else.
Christina.
Is that exactly what you pictured? Me too. Absolutely ridiculous. Let's just look at this one more time. Let's hear what she says, because she doesn't really make any sense. She doesn't make any sense.
Controversy brewing throughout the school district and the community.
I let my kids believe in whatever the hell they want to believe in.
I let my kids believe in whatever they want to believe in. These kids are 5 to 11. What do you mean? This is the type of parent that also allows their kids to be snart. What a stupid thing to say. She's a Satanist herself. You can tell she's a Satanist. She's got a giant crystal around her neck, and this shirt that she's wearing is pretty demonic, and she's wearing horns. She's wearing horns on her head. Don't forget the horns and the blood red hair. Okay, let's keep going.
As long as they're happy and it's not hurting them or hurting someone else.
Christina.
As long as it's not hurting them or someone else. So guess what? It's hurting them. It's hurting them when they grow up. They're believing that that's okay. That's going to stick with them as a kid into their adult life. They're going to think that that's okay. They're going to think it's okay to be in Satan clubs and talk about Satan and go through all of these things that are filthy and disgusting and wrong.
Along sorts through her kid's bag.
Got some pencils and we got a sticker.
New school supplies from her kids' new group. The after school.
Hold on, did you hear that? New school supplies from my kids. Okay, sorry. I'm not supposed to be making fun of people here, but did you hear that?
Happy and it's not hurting them. Or
new school supplies from her kids' new group.
She out of breath when she's talking.
The after school Satan Club.
Did your kids have fun today?
Oh yeah, they had a blast. They can't wait for the next one.
Oh, I'm sure they can't. They can't wait for Satan. The funny thing is people want to mess around with Satan, right? Because it can be fun short term, right? Everything's fun short term. But what you do in the short term always ends up fucking you over in the long term.
Sponsored by the Satanic Temple. The after-school program is popping up around the nation and in many schools that also give space to Christian groups. In Ohio, there's 3. Lebanon, Eaton, and now Wilmington.
Okay, so there's 3 in Ohio. There's already 3 in Ohio. Ohio's going to be screwed.
We look to Satan as a symbol for standing up to tyrannical authority.
Okay, here's the next person that wants to talk about it. She looks like she's in the Satan club as well. I mean, just take a look.
To us, Satan is a symbol.
To us, Satan is a symbol. In my world, this is that. It's like, no, listen, we're all in one world. It all means one thing. Just because you feel a certain way about something doesn't make it not bad. Just because you feel like Satan represents something good in life doesn't mean that it does.
It's like Santa Claus or the Tooth Fairy.
The new group isn't about
It's like Santa Claus or like the Tooth Fairy. It's just taking this thing that's demonic and fucked up and it's trying to make it look something fun. Look at how demonic this is right here too. This imagery that they're using in here.
about conjuring up spells. Instead, June Everett,
Hold on, what's your-
Fairy.
the new group isn't about conjuring up spells.
They aren't about conjuring up spells. They don't need to conjure up spells because they're open to all that stuff. Just because you are worshiping Satan doesn't mean you're doing spells. That's a total different thing, right? That's like demonology or whatever. That's working with demons to do spells. Those are not exactly the same thing, but they're not far from each other. That's for sure. Just by saying, hey, they're not doing spells, guys. Don't worry. Your kids aren't doing spells. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so relieved. Wow, guys. At least our kids aren't doing spells. Now off to Satan school you go. It's like, what?
Instead, June Everett, the After School Satan Club national director, says it's about critical thinking, creative expression,
It's about critical
and
thinking.
inclusion.
Yep, they were told to say that. Holy smokes, guys. So that's how they're trying to make it palatable to the public. That's what they think is justifiable. They think that justifies kids going to Satan school. Not very bright people. I'm glad that people are standing up to protest. If I was in Ohio, I would be protesting too, but I'm in the middle of nowhere in Michigan. Love to hear what you guys think. I don't know if you have children, but if you do, don't send them to public schools. Don't let them be around this stuff, because even if they don't go to this club, they're around other kids that do go to the club. The people that run the club might be walking around the school. They might run into those people. It's in the school. Once it's in the school, the whole school is tainted. The only other good option besides homeschooling is maybe Christian school, but even then, you have to be careful and pick the right ones, because there can always be bad apples everywhere you go. And the youth is super impressionable. So that's why it's so dang important. All right, let's take a look at the website in the PDF here really quick. Here's their website. After School Satan. I'll read it to you guys. I'll be quick. The After School Satan Club is an after-school program, you don't say, that promotes self-directed education by supporting the intellectual and creative interests of the students. You can see this is probably where they all got their talking points from. Oh, they got merchandise. Nice. Should we all go buy a shirt? Educating with Satan. Okay, so what is this, a rap? The After School Satan Club does not believe in introducing religion into the public schools. There is a religion and will only open a club if other religions groups are operating on campus. Oh, that is crazy. So they're only going to open this club if there's other religious groups at the campus. That's a spit in the face. That's disgusting. Exists to provide a safe and inclusive alternative. Okay, so this is a safe alternative to religion. That is laughable at best. That is extremely laughable. It uses threats of eternal damnation to convert school children to their belief system. It's not threats. If you actually read the Bible, you would know that it's not actually a threat. It's a gift that is given to you. So that's what they try to do. You'll notice that Satanists, people that worship the devil, stuff like this, they'll try to take stuff out of context in the Bible. That's what they're best at. They'll take one verse and they'll say, see this? It makes no sense. It contradicts itself. But what you don't know is that when you're reading the Bible, a whole chapter, a whole thing, there's so much detail because the world is a sophisticated place, right? So you have to have context. You have to have context. They usually, that little thing that's taken out of context, if you read a little bit before and a little bit after, it all makes sense. That's what they like to do. They like to take things out of context. And unlike our counterparts who publicly measure their success in young children's professions of faith, that's also not true. That's also not true. If you knew anything about the Bible, it is not about your professions of faith at all. The only thing you have to do to be Christian and go to heaven is believe in the Lord Jesus Christ. You have to believe that he exists and profess it with your mouth. That's it. So don't let them take this out of context. The After School Satanic Club program focuses on science, critical thinking, creative arts, and good works for the community. While engaged in all these activities, we want club goers to have a good time. Club goers. It's almost like this is like an EDM rave or something. We want y'all to have a good time. Okay, we got to look at this word. This is some gross shit. What is this? They must be smart, man. That critical thinking, man. They're using big words on us, guys. It's the policy of attempting to convert people's minds to religious or political beliefs. You see how they're like doing something, but they're like, that's not what we're doing. We're doing it, but we're not doing it, guys. We're not casting spells, but we are. And we're not interested in converting children to Satanism. Does it really say that right now? I mean, bro, this could be the dumbest thing that I've read in a very, very long time. The after-school Satan Club is not interested in converting children to Satanism. I'll let you decide how you want to feel about that. After-school Satan Clubs will focus on free inquiry and rationalization. Rationalism. The scientific basis for which we know that about the world around us. We prefer to give children an appreciation of the natural world surrounding them, not a fear of everlasting otherworldly horrors. Again, you guys are wrong about that. You guys don't know what you're talking about. But that's exactly what they want you to think. They want to take things out of context, and they want to make the other side look bad, when in righteousness, it actually isn't. Okay, now they got a handbook as well. So let's take a look at this handbook really quick. Okay, so this is the handbook, guys. We're just going to skim through it. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Because this, again, we just read this. This is what they focus on, blah, 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 educating with Satan. This is kind of just like they writ everything we just read is written right here once again for us. But there you go. You guys can go ahead and capture that with your phone. If we can orchestrate to take this website down, okay, we can do a DDoS attack if you want. Just let me know. We'll do that on the side. Let's see. We appreciate you taking the time to learn about our club. We're not really learning anything. You guys are just saying what you're not, right? We haven't learned anything about this club besides you guys do science and critical thinking. That doesn't mean anything. You have to give an example of what that means. Because you're saying you're not trying to get people interested in Satan and you're doing science. Okay, whatever that means. So yeah, here's the pamphlet that they got. They're probably passing this around to the judges and all the school districts and everything like that. This is probably what they're using to try to get people in here. Let's see. Why Satan? To call our club any alternative such as Science Club or Atheist Club. Atheist Club, that's, oh my gosh, which has been suggested by many, would be disingenuous because we're trying to get people to believe in Satan. And akin to hiding. Yeah, exactly, right there. It's funny how they're like, we're not trying to get you to be a Satanist, but we're not akin to hiding about what our true intentions are. One thing about Satanism too, and these kind of people, is what they believe is that if they tell you what they are doing, they won't get as much karma, right? They won't get that karmic exchange if they tell you what they're doing, right? So if I tell you I'm gonna kill you, and you don't, like, if you're not against it, and I do it, it's not as bad, right? Satan to us is not a supernatural being. It doesn't matter what it is to you. It doesn't matter what it is to you. A very emotional thing to say right here. Instead, Satan is a literary figure that represents a metaphorical construct of rejecting tyranny over the human mind and spirit. This is what they use. This is how they get people to sign up for it, right? Because initially, like, no one's going to just sign up to be a Satanist, right? But they have to make it seem palatable to the world. Otherwise, it's absolutely ridiculous, right? Why does anyone ever join? Because they find a way to try to make it more palatable. Who is teaching this club? It's operated by the Satanic Temple. I mean, that's all you got to know. They're saying that they're not one thing, and then the next sentence, they're saying they are doing the thing. So there you go, dude. They're lying and then telling the truth in the same sentence to try to deceive people. Yeah, and the reason that they're going after kids is because they're the most impressionable, right? If you can get these kids programmed into this shit at a young age, it's going to be extremely hard for them to break the shackles of this as they're adults, and thus drawing more and more people away from God and into Satan. Who's the easiest thing to go after? The most impressionable minds? Elementary school. I mean, that's starting young, too. You got to get them while they're young because they don't know right from wrong. Do these kids know right from wrong? Psalms 127:3. Behold, children are a heritage from the Lord, the fruit of the womb as a reward. Like arrows in the hand of a warrior are the children of one's youth. Blessed is the man who fills his quiver with them. He shall not be put to shame when he speaks with his enemies in the gate. God really loves his children, and Satan knows this, and that's why Satan is trying to attack them. It's right there. It's written in the Bible. And they were bringing children to him that he might touch them, and the disciples rebuked them. But when Jesus saw it, he was indignant and said to them, "Let the children come to me. Do not hinder them, for such belongs to the kingdom of God." Do not hinder them. Truly, I say to you, whoever does not receive the kingdom of God like a child shall not enter it. So you have to receive it like a child because a child isn't impressionable. It says this right in here. And he took them into his arms and blessed them, laying on his hands. So if you don't receive the kingdom of God like a child, that's because a child receives things, right? Their mind is open. They're very impressionable. So it says it all here. I also thought this was crazy, right? This is the exact same thing in a different form. The exact same thing in a different form right here. If you guys know Destroy Lonely, by the way, I listened to this album, trash. Trash out of 10. Imagine selling your soul and having a trash album come out of it. Crazy. Crazy, man. Imagine, look at this. Look at what they're doing here. Destroy Lonely made a Roblox concert. Who plays Roblox? Kids. So he's throwing a concert in a kid's game. No adults are going onto Roblox to listen to his concert. That's only kids. Okay? It's scheduled for the 12th. That was 2 days ago. Now look at some of the imagery from it. Okay, here's the concert premiering on Roblox. This is probably in the game. There's a little thing for it right here. Satanic, satanic, satanic. Tons of satanic imagery. Demonic symbols in a child's game. How are the creators of this allowing it? But this is the same exact thing, right? They're trying to attack the youth and get the youth interested in Satan and open to this stuff because they're the most impressionable. It's crazy. They're doing this in a million different ways. They know who their audience is and they're really going after them. So it's now the most important time to stand up against this stuff and teach our children the right thing. Homeschool. I had to talk about that because it's absolutely ridiculous. And it's not just a joke. It's not a light thing. It's disgusting and it should not be happening. And if I find any way that I can get involved to help with this, I will. But it's crazy, man. It's crazy the world we're living in. It's getting more and more common for this stuff to be right in your face. They're not even hiding it anymore. They're not even hiding it anymore.